Welcome to another episode of Applesauce and Baloney. I'm Thor.
And I'm Eric, broadcasting from a Ewok hut on Endor.
Well, you may be on Endor, but I am in the armpit of Tatooine. It is hot here.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to be a little sweaty and glistening because I can't have the fan on.
I'm going to try to drink my coffee through this helmet.
You need a little bamboo straw, a little Ewok bamboo straw.
I do.
So, what are we here
to
talk
Star
about?
Wars episode, if you haven't guessed.
Star Wars. Right?
Talking about Star Wars.
So, of course, we're talking about Star Wars. You're going to hear a lot of us talking about Star Wars. Star Wars is our jam.
It's our favorite thing.
That's one of our favorite things in the whole world. Our wives know that. Our kids know that. Our loved ones know that. Star Wars.
Yeah, when Galaxy's Edge opened up, I told my kids, hey, guess who's going to Disneyland, to Galaxy's Edge? And they're like, we are? And I'm like, no, Dad. Dad's going.
Yeah,
Dad's going,
yeah.
but you will get to go someday.
Yeah. We both.
I'm a terrible father.
We both left our respective families and went to the opening of Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, and enjoyed riding the Millennium Falcon and doing all of the things, buying and building lightsabers.
But really, we're good dads, because we did that so that when we take our kids, that it can be about them and not us reliving our childhoods.
Right. Or that's what we tell ourselves.
That's to sleep at night.
But what brings us here today is Disney just dropped a brand new trailer.
Oh, man.
For Star Wars Visions. The animated Star Wars that is here to placate all your fanboy dreams.
They've done a couple. They did a manga series a while back. I want to say 10, 15 years ago, where they let some manga artists at Star Wars, and that was great. There's been some fan films, most notably the X-Wing one.
That
fans have done. But I'll tell you what, man, to finally get what is it, like the 6 top animation studios in Japan are going to have a shot at this, and it looks like they've been given. You got to check this out. If you have not seen this trailer and you're excited about Star Wars stories that exist outside of the Luke Skywalker, the Skywalker saga box, this is it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and link's going to be below. Follow that, watch it, love it.
Oh my gosh,
it's great. I love what Hollywood's doing right now with anime. We got anime with Blade Runner. We got anime with Kill Bill.
Well, and with Tron. You and I were both huge fans. You and I were both huge fans of the Tron animated series that was going along with Tron Legacy.
Yeah. So I'm 100% on board. I've been an anime fan since way back in the 80s when I was watching, the Macross saga and all,
Well, Voltron the early Voltron, Robotech. And then leads into, we're talking Ninja Scroll, and then the first American, what I consider the first fully American anime, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Which was mostly American produced,
which ironically brings us back to Dave Filoni and Star Wars.
Yep, it's all about Filoni, baby. It's all about the Filoni.
But let's talk about this trailer a little bit. And there's a lot that happens in it. We're not going to hit on everything, so please go watch it for yourself.
If you're a fan of anime, if you like anime and you know nothing about Star Wars, This could be your gateway in, and you don't have to. It's kind of the same way I would tell people who I would tell about Mandalorian. I'd say, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love this show, but you don't need to know anything about Star Wars to enjoy The Mandalorian. Now, the more you do, and I talk to people who know nothing about Star Wars and get into The Mandalorian, and they come to me with questions like, oh, so what is this and what is that? And it's such a great doorway in because it doesn't put the burden on you. That's what's so brilliant about what they did with Mandalorian is The Mandalorian doesn't know anything about the Jedi or the other things that like uber Star Wars fans like you and me it's second nature. It's why I could probably create cold fusion if I hadn't filled my brain up with useless Star Wars knowledge.
Well, and you did hit on it. It is a gateway into the fandom. The Mandalorian is taking us through an outsider's point of view into Star Wars. We're getting to see what happens. We've now met Luke Skywalker. We met Ahsoka Tano. We have Grogu, who's a baby Yoda that's becoming a Jedi, and we're getting to live with the Mandalorian through reliving Star Wars and refinding it. It's an amazing. But again, off topic. We're not talking about the Mandalorian. We're talking about Star Wars.
We're talking about this anime thing, and again, but it is full circle for Star Wars, because one of the things Filoni always talks about is the very sort of samurai nature of George Lucas and the heavy Asian influence of Kurosawa on Star Wars. And so for them to hand it back to Japan, there's been this very intimate relationship with American cinema and Japanese cinema, where Kurosawa did his samurai movies because he saw these spaghetti westerns, or vice versa. There's always been this trait of Western Eastern culture that great filmmakers like George Lucas or Quentin Tarantino have sort of seized upon, and not even a way to there is some stealing, but I call it more sharing. It's a cultural.
It's emulating. It's
a cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this anime
and it shows it, and Star Wars lends itself to anime. It lends itself to the samurai just because of the way the Jedi are set up. The scene in this trailer.
Well, they're cowboy samurai.
The scene in this trailer that got me is there's a close up of a Jedi pulling his lightsaber out and igniting it. It looks like he's drawing it from a sheath. And
which actually is like Qui-Gon.
So
that's
brilliant.
Like they do that in episode 1 when Qui-Gon pulls his one lightsaber out when they attack those droids. It absolutely is done like he's pulling a lightsaber out of a sheath.
Yeah. So, but beginning of the trailer, we start with a father handing down what looks like a red kyber crystal to his daughter or his son. God, what other things are in this?
Oh my God! The beautiful Japanese wood box with the lightsaber in it that the one girl has,
which is very reminiscent to what they're selling lightsabers in again at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. Is that ornate lightsaber box? Mm-hmm. But I mean, let's just. I'm just going to ramble off some stuff.
Okay, go for it.
We go to Tatooine. There's going to be a band playing at the Boonta Eve Classic.
And it's just an anime band. I mean, them taking anime concepts and what can be an interesting anime story and applying it. If people are because the big question is, how can we tell Star Wars stories that are Star Wars, but also outside of the box of just the sort of like space opera, thing. And exactly. The Rockstar Showdown, Scott Pilgrim versus the World style thing we were going to see in that episode probably. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, and the great thing is it is different studios. So stylistically, each one of these is going to be its own thing. Like we had one that looks like Astro Boy. We're going to get an Astro Boy Jedi. We're going to get a classic samurai.
Spirited
showdown.
Away. We're gonna get a ninja scroll.
Spirited Away. I mean, again, I've watched the trailer 2 or 3 times this morning. There's just so much going on. I didn't take any notes. I apologize. So I'm just rambling at you.
I know. I sent it to you. I think I sent it to you about 6:30 this morning your time, because I was just sort of waking up and scrolling through stuff, and I'm like, how did I not know about this anime thing they were doing? I mean, for me, you and I track Star Wars more than anything. We track it. And so the fact that I had that moment where I was like, how did I not know this was happening?
Well, because back when they announced all the new Star Wars shows that were coming out, they told us Boba Fett. They told us, this Book of Boba Fett. They told us Mandalorian Season 3. They told us there's going to be an Ahsoka show. They told us, Guardians of the Republic or whatever that vehicle for...
The Rangers of the Republic, yeah.
Rangers of the Republic. And they told us the X-Wing movie that's coming out. but they just kind of said, and we're doing Star Wars Visions. And they didn't really tell us a whole lot about it.
And wasn't that a comic book series? Wasn't that a Dark Horse comic book series? Or am I thinking of another Star Wars, spin-off series? Because Vision sounds...
It does sound very familiar.
It does sound familiar, because I believe, and again, we don't do our homework on this show like we should. We're terrible, but I believe that there was a series that Dark Horse did called Star Wars Visions, because it was like Darth Vader versus Darth Maul, and there were some of these like one-off or what if Luke died on Hoth and Leia had to take over.
The Star Wars What If series, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically Star Wars What If, yeah.
Yeah. But oh man, all the feels, it's amazing. Watch it.
And everything you love about anime. Everything you love about anime. If you don't think a double-bladed lightsaber or General Grievous having 8 lightsabers or whatever isn't enough, then hold on to your hats, because it's anime. So there's a guy who has 16 lightsabers.
Because you have a guy with a staff with lightsabers on the end that are spinning around like an umbrella.
I mean, way to just buy way into the most ridiculous lightsaber weapons we can come up with. Let's just... I think there's a robot chicken. I think there's a robot chicken episode about that.
Yeah. Well, and there was tons of fan art that came out with Kylo Ren when Force Awakens first came out.
Right.
But so we're not, we'll probably wrap up here talking about Star Wars Visions. Obviously, when it comes out,
so good.
We're going to hit it hard. You're going to hear a lot about that. We have a couple.
Yeah, I think it's September 22nd.
September 22nd.
So
we have a couple
weeks,
of people that
are
are heavier into anime than we are. That we'll probably bring in that'll be able to share some of that anime experience. But man, I'm floored.
Yeah, I'm stoked, and it makes me excited for stuff that I previously was interested in, but not really excited about. Like this project that they're Star Wars Acolyte that's supposedly completely outside of the timeline, or X-Wing, Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman 84, and Wonder Woman her X-Wing thing, and her dad was so I think this is opening up a really cool door for people to get to experience Star Wars who maybe wouldn't have been into like what you and I would consider classic Star Wars.
Well, and we've talked about this ad nauseum in the past. Obviously not on this channel because we just started, but I have not been interested in the High Republic. I have not read any of the books. I have not read any of the comics.
We've tried. Well, that's not true because we read their samplers that came out.
Yeah.
And I've checked out some of it, but yeah, it's
but
I haven't been really excited about it.
But watching this morning, it kind of gave me a renewed passion to go back and retry some of the High Republic stuff, just because like this is so out of the gate and it's so different that I maybe I need to retrain my brain and say, hey, dude, Star Wars can be more than the movies. Star Wars.
Well, but I think that's our problem with High Republic.
Than Episode 1 through Episode 9.
But I think that's been our problem with High Republic. I think it's partially we're afraid, like most Star Wars fans, or more fans of like what they consider canon material. We're a little afraid of something new. But what I'd rather embrace something new that I'm not necessarily like instantly comfortable with, and be like, oh yeah, this is tapioca pudding.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like Republic needs permission, and maybe this will do it. I hope the High Republic branches out more and does some more different things, because some of it seems like rehashing. And that's where you and I grew up with a lot of novels. I mean, there's the exceptions. There's the Kevin J. Anderson Jedi Academy, and there's Timothy Zahn's, now basically canon, Heir to the Empire, with Thrawn series. But a lot of the material you and I grew up with Star Wars was just a rehashing of the 3 movies that we already knew, and I'm not interested in that. I'd rather be either mildly disappointed or pleasantly surprised with new stuff.
Right. And I've heard a lot of people, a lot of the other podcasts that I watch, and some friends of mine that run a podcast, they love the books. But again, the authors that they're watching or they're reading, they're known authors. So they're bought into the way that they write.
Right.
And I am not a book heavy guy. I could admit that. I like watching TV. I like watching movies. I like listening to audio.
You're an audiobook guy. You're an audiobook guy.
But just getting into, and I don't want to get into a whole lot of High Republic here because obviously we haven't seen it. But just getting into the stories, they didn't grab me. And right. I think having watched this, I think I'm gonna give them another chance. Obviously we'll talk about it here.
Well, yeah, we like everything Star Wars. But yeah, I what I'm excited about is Mandalorian Season 2, because you and I have talked about this a little bit, but where do we go? Okay, so Grogu's with Luke.
Season 3.
And what's up? Oh, yeah, Season 3. Yeah, I'm sorry, Season 3. So where do we go? I mean, really, though, it's almost... I'm not sure... Successful shows find a way to reset themselves and have it basically kind of be the same draw, but I don't feel like that's what Favreau and Filoni are doing. So I'm really excited about, because I have no idea. Like, I usually have lots of theories about where they're going to go, but really off the top of my head, where do we go after, I mean, Grogu's off with Luke.
I think we're going to see a lot more. Maybe not a lot more, but we're going to see more of Luke Skywalker. I think we're going to see more of Grogu. From the stuff that I've kind of read,
okay.
It seems like they're going to work on tying up that story, so the Mandalorian can move on from that story. Could be completely off base.
I mean,
this is all baloney. I could be completely off base. This is just me reading stuff on the internet, and the internet's obviously always right?
Right. Yeah.
But so I think we're going to see more Luke. I think we're going to see more Grogu. I think, obviously the show's going to live more around Mando.
But you know what? Yeah, exactly. To that point, what I would love to see would be more to have the show be brave enough to take a season off of, depending on the cuteness of Grogu. And maybe we see an episode or we see some cutaways to what Grogu is doing if it's relevant to the Mandalorian story. But I would love to see them be brave enough to move away and have this next season be more about the Mandalorian continuing his journey. And Grogu is part of that.
Because
he does say, I'm going to,
Because there's a lot that he has to do now. He has the Darksaber and Sabine... who's the gal? I wanted to call her Sabine and Satine, but it's not. It's
it's the rightful ruler, the one who should have the Darksaber.
I'm completely bad fan. Completely blanking.
Bad fan. We're bad fans.
But I mean, there's that whole
people are yelling, if they're even listening to us. They're yelling at their screen right now. Yeah. Oh, it's Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. Yeah.
It's Bo-Katan, you morons.
Not Boba Fett. Bo-Katan. Yeah.
Bo-Katan.
But, I mean, there's that whole story to resolve. There's the story of the ruling of Mandalore, rebuilding Mandalore. There's a lot that's got to happen. And again, it doesn't all have to happen in this season.
And they can't, I understand, exactly. And I can't understand, I can understand if they need to do some Grogu stuff, because that is part of his story. I mean, he's been part of him since, the first episode or second episode? Yeah. But I think they have to move on to really tell the Mandalorian story. It is intimately tied to Grogu. Grogu needs to be wrapped up or dealt with, but because then if he's not, we're just going to wonder, where's Grogu? Like, what's going on with Grogu?
Right.
So I think you're right. I think we'll see some more Luke and Grogu stuff, but my hope is that we can find a new set of stories that the Mandalorian can be part of, and adventures that grow his character without needing Grogu necessarily, like, there every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really, I mean, as a story thing, Grogu is a bit of an anchor. It's hard, and you could kind of tell, if I have any criticisms, and I have mostly only awesome things to say about Mandalorian, but I could tell that the writers and the creator, like, that they had a hard time of, like, what do we do with Grogu in this episode? Oh, we'll put him with a class. He'll be hanging out with this class, and he'll eat some gross blue candies.
Right.
But really, they had so much to do with the Mandalorian, what the Mandalorian had to do, that
Yeah, it was really a
Grogu
split
gets
show.
in the way.
It was
'Cause
really
where's
a split
Grogu?
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's telling his story, but it's telling Mandalorian's story and who's the lead character. And yeah, their stories did get in the way of each other, other than the times where it was one path, but absolutely. So
Right.
one last thing about Mandalorian, one of the other rumors I heard is that the Book of Boba Fett is basically a soft season 3 of the Mandalorian. It's like 2.5,
Right.
3.1. So I'm really curious what they're going to do in the Book of Boba Fett. Obviously, we
Right.
don't know anything about it other than the fact that it's filming. Because
Wow.
Tamora Morrison put out the picture of him hanging out in the hot tub, after a take, which is.
Is very Tamura Morrison.
Yeah. But super excited for things to come, Star Wars show wise.
Yeah, no, I mean this next year we're going to be very busy. That's why we've been talking about doing this podcast for a year. That's why we finally had to do it, because this next year there's going to be so much between Marvel, between all the things we like, between Marvel, Star Wars, stuff going on at Disneyland, DCEU, Warner Brothers, what's going on there. It's going to be a hot year.
Yeah. So speaking of Star Wars and Disneyland, not hot topical news by any means, but
I think so.
Galactic Starcruiser.
Oh man, the Halcyon, the Halcyon.
We are both 100% on board.
Literally. Well, we're not, because we can't afford it, but we're saving up money. But we would be 100% on board.
Right. I joked about it before. I have a buyer for one of my kidneys. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to get to this hotel. I'm going to flip through some screenshots here, and I'll put them up full screen for you guys. But I mean, just the art that we have here of the main gangway, the control room area. We have a Wookiee, we have stormtroopers, we have droids.
Twi'lek servers. Every Star Wars fanboy wants that, or fangirl.
They've announced
fan person.
They've announced that they're going to let people wear full costume. That's kind of an amazing thing.
You and I are already. Well, the full disclosure, we're already working on our gala costumes, because apparently on the last night there's a gala. So it's like we're gonna have our regular, just running around. I'm a smuggler, Jedi, collector guy, and then I'm gonna have to have my gala outfit.
Yeah. So I mean, they've let people what's called Disney bounding currently, where you can wear Star Wars themed clothing, Star Wars-esque clothing, but no full costumes. And this is their first announcement of full costumes, which is interesting because they're going to let you go down. I say let you go down because I've already bought in. They're gonna transport you over to Hollywood Studios, where you're going to be able to go to Batuu, ride the Falcon, ride Rise of Resistance.
And I think it's going to be a mostly curated event, where it's going to be mostly people just at the Starcruiser, at the hotel.
Because with Disney's take on adults in costumes, they want to make sure that the normal Disney goers
aren't confused
with the people that work there.
Right.
And I get that. I'm on board with that. But this is so cool that they're going to let people wear full costumes.
Well, and again, for the price, if these prices are right, for the price, absolutely, it should be, and it sounds like that they're going to do those excursions to the park early enough where it's not going to interfere too much with the day-to-day park operations and the day-to-day, park goers. But absolutely, for the price, if you're paying for a 100% role-playing experience, I hope that when you get to go down to Batuu, it's literally cast members and everybody from the Starcruiser.
From the ship, and it's going to be so amazing. I mean, there's going to be a lightsaber dojo event where you're going to get to use the new Disney official, what they're considering the official working lightsaber.
Right. So explain that to people who aren't as big nerds as what that basically is.
So Disney created a lightsaber. It is not a electric blade. It is more from the plans that they've made, it's more like a tape measure that's inside of a lightsaber hilt. So,
so it basically can extend and glow instead of being something you screw in. Yeah,
it automatically extends and retracts, unlike the lightsabers they have now that you have to attach on at the front and walk around with a 6-foot stick,
or the telescoping blade from when we were kids.
Or the telescoping blade that sticks out the end. So that's amazing. There's a bar area. There's all the themed food
with 3D Sabak, and you and I both play Sabak.
They're gonna have a training for Sabak. They're gonna have a Sabak tournament, which we've both been talking about that we want to do at Galaxy's Edge. We want to go down in costume, sit around, and just play Sabak.
Well, and we did, we did when we went to Galaxy's Edge the second time. We actually had cast members invite us out and behind Docking Bay 97, or is it 99? What's the restaurant?
Docking Bay 7, yeah.
Docking Bay 7. We played a couple hands of Sabak or Sabak, however you want to say it, with actual Batuians, with actual cast members from Disneyland that sat down and played Sabak with us, and it was awesome.
Right. So, I mean, we'll get to the price. You probably already know the price if you're a Star Wars fan. We'll get to it. But for the price, they're giving you a lot of stuff. The rooms look amazing. I mean, I don't even want to go sleep in one of their queen beds. I want to go sleep in one of their bunk pods that's on the wall. Because that says Star Wars to me, right?
Right, yeah. You don't see Han's either sleeping in a chair or, I mean, he's got a bunch of stuff up in the one thing that's supposed to be a sleeping pod in the Falcon. You just assume they sleep in their chairs.
Yeah. I mean, the windows are viewports you're going to see the galaxy wide behind it. So, you go to Disney's website, start planning your voyage aboard the Starcruiser. Here's the standard cabin and the breakdown, 4 to 5 passengers.
Gosh.
It has a mini fridge, hair dryer, phone, interactive TV. But of course, you're not there for the phone and TV and mini fridge and your hair dryer. I don't know how much time I'm going to spend in the room, obviously.
Right.
Unless at nighttime when they're like, activities are done, everyone has to go to your room, and then they
have to go to
a
room, yeah. But this is literally something that you and I have talked about since we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool? And then when Galaxy's Edge came out, it's like, you're going to get to fly the Falcon. We were like, oh my gosh, that's everything we wanted. Yeah. And then they told us about this. Yeah.
By the way, no. you're going to get to live on a Starcruiser for 2 nights. And you're like, that's everything we ever wanted.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, what's the price point? Like what part of my body do I have to sell?
Yeah.
To do this?
And so we'll get to that. So we have 3 different types of suites. We have the Grand Captain Suite, which is the big one. Sleeps up to 8 passengers. 2 queen beds, 2 berths, with 2 wall pull-down beds. Obviously, I'm going to try to save up money to go to that one. We're going to have to get our crew together that we went to Galaxy's Edge with, because it's going to be expensive. Because here's the sample breakdown of a standard cabin rate in a off-peak.
And again, I think these are just like prices they're floating right now, right?
This is sample pricing. This is what they think it's going to be. And again, like I just said, this is midweek, off-peak. So it's not when everyone usually goes to Disney World. These are probably the lowest the prices are ever going to be. For 2 adults, it's $1,200 per guest per night. That's $4,800 for 2 people for 2
and
nights.
That's not even getting there. But
that's not even getting there. But it is all your food. So I mean, you have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, food, like 2 drinks.
It is half a day. It's half a day at Disney's Hollywood Studios, so you can go to Batuu. So you take that out, but still, that's only like maybe $200, $300.
But if this is the curated event that they're talking about, if this is because again, in this pricing, and I'm sure you're going to get to that, but I'm just going to jump ahead there. In this pricing are unexpected story moments. And so these are the things that we were nerding out about when they were going to open up Galaxy's Edge, that like if you flew the Millennium Falcon and you crashed it, that a bounty hunter would be after you. So if we get to go and I actually get a full suited like Star Wars perfect, screen bounty hunter or somebody that's after me, or I have to like role play some action. I mean, and this really is a cruise. I mean, you're really thinking about it like that's how I'm thinking about it. I've never wanted to go on a cruise on the actual ocean, but if I could pretend to go to Star Wars space for 2 days,
right?
What is that worth?
Well, I mean, it's like going on a cruise, and like you said, I've always been worried about going on cruises because you're out in the middle of the ocean. Anything can happen. There's still people that talk about pirates out in the ocean that roll up. And this is the safest cruise you're ever gonna be on. It's on land. It's scheduled to be attacked by pirates by the First Order.
Right.
So it's
it's on your itinerary.
Yeah. So
pirates are on the itinerary.
So, but it makes me wonder. We talked a little bit before about the Galaxy's Edge game on Oculus. It makes me wonder how much that's going to start tying in to what they're actually doing here.
Are you going to
get a job? Are you going to get a job from Doc Ondar? It's
right.
Are you actually going to get to interact with Oga? Because the way that the data pads work in Galaxy's Edge, you have interactive moments, but it's all scripted interactive moments where you get a job from Oga and it's hey, go over here, take a picture of this crate, and then you take a picture of it, and then your phone's like, great. Thanks for doing it. Here's some
don't get
us
wrong, and don't get us wrong here, because even though that's all it was, you and I
spent all day doing it.
You spent 50% of your time when we were in Star Wars. You spent 50% of your time in line with the Millennium Falcon and running around there while we were doing everything else, scanning crates.
Yeah,
and you're very proud of your rating.
I made my wife so mad because she's like, "We're at Disneyland. Why are you on your phone?" And I'm like, "Because this is part of it. This is the thing."
Right.
And I'm like, I need to go over there and scan that crate. She's like, but we're in line for this. And I'm like, but I have to go do this because this little task that I have to do.
And us figuring out the little puzzles, it's going to give me to unlock.
Yeah, it's going to give me a new costume for my app.
So don't get us wrong. We totally bought in. We totally bought into what they're doing. Yeah. But we bought in partially because do more. We have the technology, do the magic bands, come find me, have me arrested by stormtroopers. That was our favorite part of Galaxy's Edge, when the stormtroopers asked us for our identification, and I tried to say, you don't need to say our identification. And the stormtrooper was like, this guy thinks he's a Jedi.
Yeah. No, I love the stormtroopers at Galaxy's Edge. They're adult
great.
moment. They are the adult moment for Galaxy's Edge.
Because
I feel like the stormtroopers definitely interact more with the adults. Rey is there, and
Rey and Kylo are there for the kids, but the stormtroopers are definitely
for the kids. Yeah. They definitely interact more with the kids. The stormtroopers and Chewbacca are there. I was at Galaxy's Edge for Halloween 2 years ago. We went dressed up in our Republic pilot outfits. No, this was the time. It was the day before I was dressed up in my Han Solo outfit, and Chewbacca came up and gave me the biggest Wookiee hug. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I man cried.
Me too. When I hugged
biggest
Chewbacca, I was like, oh my god, it's Chewie.
Yeah. biggest nerd moment in my entire life. A grown adult in a Wookiee costume hugged me, and my eyes got watery.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, if the price point is high, it's at the very edge of anything I could even reasonably hope to ever afford. But man, to just have those experiences, to have those moments with this Galactic Starcruiser, it's literally everything a fanboy like you and me could ever have dreamt about.
Yeah. So it's definitely pricey. Those are sample prices for the lowest suite. So you can only imagine that the 8-person captain's suite is you're probably looking upwards of $10,000.
But yeah, man, just a lot of good Star Wars coming down. I'm excited for Obi-Wan. Excited for we didn't even I wanted to even talk about Obi-Wan and stuff, but we're out of time. So yeah, much more. Don't worry, we talk about Star Wars more than anything else. But
yeah, absolutely, plenty more to come. So follow us on Facebook. like, follow, subscribe, and hit the little bell on YouTube and get all our updates. And definitely come back for more, because this is what we talk about: Marvel, Star Wars, DC, Disney, you know, and comics and anime and et cetera,
and everything else. Yeah, I know. We haven't even got into our side stuff with, you know, like, you know, Lord of the Rings, or, you know, what's going on so far. So other things we also love but don't talk about enough.
Yeah. So we've just taken our first step into a larger world.
Oh, I love it. There you go.
So, you know, hang in there with us, and you know, we're looking forward to more.
All right, kid, let's blow this thing and go home.
All right.
All right, we'll see you next time.